Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is now 8:02 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Friday the 9th, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking we made it. And Curtis, man, I'm so happy to be, yeah, that's right. We're going to take the kids here. We're going to go this and that. I know. Aren't you happy? You made it through the week. All of the emails didn't get you down, the unreturned voicemails, the red flags in your Outlook inbox, or maybe that's just mine. We made it, y'all. We did. And we have a fantastic episode for you today. We have a great guest, and he's also part of a great team. I've always told you the team is great. Our guest today is Mr. Phillip Edward Van Lear. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Such a pleasure to be here, Curtis. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on the show. Glad to have you on the show. Between Riverside and Crazy by Stephen Adley Gerges.
Yes, sir.
Is going to be today, going until October 8th, Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. at the Riverfront Playhouse.
That is correct.
All right. So good to know and meet you. As we talked before the mic came on, there is a great article out in the Chicago Tribune that features yourself and your son Brandon.
Yes, and our director, Gary Puckett, longtime Aurora as well.
Shout out to Gary Puckett. Gary Puckett sent us the message on our Facebook Messenger. Bing! Would you like to interview Phillip Edward? Yes, I would. And we would be remiss not to mention Miss Sherry Winchester Schultz. Good morning to you, Sherry, as well. Such a great team. All right. So Aaron Hoge, Heidi Schultz, Beth Goncher, Vincent Prisco, and Jamie Johnson. Jamie Johnson. You know what? That's the thing. I try to be so pronounced when you're reading people's names that sometimes I mess it up. You know, I'm trying too hard.
That happens on stage, brother. Don't worry about that. That's okay.
But this is going to be great. So, where were you born and raised, sir?
I was born and raised in Aurora, Illinois, right here in good old A-Town.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because, back in the day, we didn't call it A-Town. We called it the Little Apple.
The Little Apple.
Aurora, the Little Apple.
Okay, yes, I like that. Yes.
But I grew up on the east side, went to Bardwell, and then my mom, single mom, we moved over to the west side and then finished most of my time then at between Franklin, Jefferson, and then Aurora West.
Okay. All right. Sir. Very cool.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you been an actor?
If you ask my late mother, all my life.
Right.
And most of that time, a bad actor. No, man. I think like so many performers, I had a teacher in 7th grade, Vincent Papalizio. I believe he's still living, at Benjamin Franklin Junior High School, and I was one of those kids that today would have been diagnosed as ADHD.
Okay.
And just, I was a mess, a hot mess. And he pulled me aside. He says, you've got a lot of energy, young man, and we've got to find a way for you to channel that energy. And I've got just the thing for you. We're going to introduce you to theater. And he taught me that theater would have been a great positive outlet for me. And between that and the little stuff you do I grew up at Maine Baptist Church on the east side.
Shout out to Maine Baptist Church.
Man, come on, Maine Baptist. That really put those seeds those creative seeds into that pretty fertile soil of a young kid that was just searching for a way to cope with a lot of stuff that was going on in my life.
So it sounds like acting and theater has been the saving force. Is that correct?
You mean my personal balm in Gilead?
Yes, exactly.
Without a doubt. I think that is for a lot of people. There's something so wonderfully therapeutic about the physical expression and about creative expression. Especially if you are, I was so blessed to have had really good teachers along the way.
Right.
Wilbur Walters for one, and then as I got into college, John Schenau, who's since gone on to glory. And most significantly, it would have been Dave Morris, the founder of the Riverfront Playhouse, and his late wife, Josephine Morris. Those two incredibly talented, brilliant, loving, kind theater people. That's what they were, theater people. They're the ones that forged my career. I don't know if I would have started auditioning in Chicago in 85, 86
Wow.
if it wasn't for Dave Morris saying, dude, or actually he would say, old friend, I think you're ready.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
What was it like to audition in Chicago theater scene in the 80s?
The most frightening experience I can ever imagine.
Wow.
My first professional audition was with the great James Lancaster, God rest his soul, at Body Politic. Pauline Brailsford, who was his assistant director, I ended up working years later with her at Columbia College when I would teach there. But I went in there thinking that I was ready, and I wasn't. I talked myself into believing that I was prepared. And this is back in the day when you used to be able to do 2 3-minute monologues. So you would get 6 minutes, to show them what you got. And sadly,
Sounds cool.
If you're ready,
yeah, right.
it's cool.
Right.
If you're not ready, it's a
not
little
cool.
repulsive.
Aha.
So about 30 seconds into my first monologue, James Lancaster went like this. Oh, God.
Wow.
I still had all of that monologue to go on the other one. Needless to say, I was devastated. I was still living out here in Aurora, driving back home. I felt physically ill. I said, that's it. This is not for me. Professional theater acting's not for me. And Dave and Joe gave me a nice pep talk. And sure enough, 8 months later, I've got my first Chicago theater gig at the Goodman Theater with Bob Falls, starring alongside Brian Dennehy, and also in the late great Brian Dennehy, and also in the cast was James, the gentleman who.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
and
wow. Full
asked,
circle.
I asked him about it, and he said, and he was dealing with influenza at the time, and he said, well, son, it must have been awful because I don't remember it at all.
Wow. Holy cow.
And then he says, but look at you now. We're on stage together. So I guess it didn't really matter, did it?
Wow.
Great advice.
Inspirational enough. Yeah,
Amen.
definitely. The time is 8:09 a.m. We are with Phillip Edward Van Lear between Riverside and Crazy. It's going to be September 9th through October 8th, Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. at the Riverfront Playhouse. For those of you unfamiliar with Riverfront Playhouse, it is that wonderful
Jewel,
yeah, right, that diamond in the rough that is right next door to City Hall in the Water Street Mall,
Yes.
behind Venue, right through there. Great place, guys. So what is between Riverside and Crazy, what's it about?
Stephen Adley Gerges has he has a very unique talent. I guess if you're going to describe it linguistically, you would say his sense of verisimilitude, the appearance of being true or real, is just turned all the way up to 10. His writing is so clear, so direct, so intentional, genuine, authentic, that you really don't have to act it. What you have to do is embody it, to embrace it, to live it, put it on, and then let the words do the work. He did that with the story. One of the interviews that I really enjoy with Stephen Adley is when he talks about his relationship with his father in particular, because that is at the center of the conflict in Riverside and Crazy, and how this play and him writing this play and the process of workshopping this play at Second Stage allowed him to enjoy the last months with his father, because his father lived with him. During the ends of his life, and this play really embodies that ages-old conflict between father and son.
Right.
It really highlights what goes on when a father does not know how to deal with the damage that he's done to his wife and his family, the collateral damage he's done to his co-workers, and what he's done really to his own legacy.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. I do think that now, with the benefit of hindsight, like I'll just, use a little bit of my own life. Like now with the benefit of hindsight, I can see how, 'cause I told you my parents are divorced. I can see like more clear now the why behind the actions and the emotion in it. And between Riverside and Crazy is very emotional. Because the father-son relationship, I think it's one of the not least talked about, because that makes it seem like it's less than in the family structure, but I don't think it's as prominent as the mother-daughter relationship has been experienced or portrayed, or even the mother and son relationship.
Yes. Why do you think that is, Curtis?
Well, I think that's because in many facets of life, the primacy has always been geared towards maternal. In many facets, and I mean, there's more. For example, there's more commercials for moms take the kids to Raging Rapids. The commercial never starts with Dad, take the boys to unless it's like a Chevy commercial, Ford trucks, bring the boys and go fishing. So and that's what I think it is. I don't think I think it's more by happenstance and design. Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think Stephen handles that well, especially in how he, and I don't want to give away the end of the play,
right?
No. How that journey takes the audience, through both of these men trying to deal with being broken, flawed, sinful creations, and the fact that they want to say so much more.
Right.
Son gets a lot more out than Walter does. But, on top of that, or I should say layered alongside that, is, of course, the relationship that Walter has with his former partner, with the people that are hanging out at his house, his son's friends.
Right.
And then the guilt and shame, which are really like companions to him with Walter, the guilt and shame and remorse and just grief of what he lives with every day, the death of his wife, the absolute remorse of how he was so cruel, emotionally distant, unfaithful to his wife, how he abused and manipulated the relationship with his former partner as a New York cop. All of these parts of Walter are on full display, and they kind of sit there metaphorically with him on stage. It's a brilliant play.
The time is 8:14 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Once again, it's Friday the 9th, and we are here with Mr. Phillip Edward Van Lear, whose son also stars in the production, Brandon Phillip Van Lear, as well. This is an absolutely wonderful conversation already. Tracy Duran, good morning to you. Josue Pais, right back at you, dear brother. Good morning, y'all. Happy Friday. Good vibes to you all. I like that. Well, thank you for interjecting. Cindy Morales is here. Good morning to you, Cindy. Saul Olivas, good morning to you, dear brother. Maria Chirito, Gloria Gerardo, and Michael Rayford, dear friend. Good morning, A-Town. Happy Friday at Michael Rayford Media Life Insurance Awareness Month, How Money Works. The real question is, what is your 100-yard time? My 100-yard time? Mine? You want to race? Is that a challenge? Is that what he meant?
That was good. I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Mike, we can race and put it on camera. I don't know my 100-yard dash time. I haven't ran the 100-yard dash in a while.
That also tells you how old Mike. I know the Reeford, so that tells you how old he is. And since he didn't say 100-meter time.
Right. Coaches. I love that. Okay. I did want to make a brief announcement, you guys, real quick. We're going to get back to our conversation with Mr. Phillip Van Lear, as I talked about with Bernard Shaw. Unfortunately, Mr. Bernard Shaw, who was CNN's first chief anchor and Chicago native, passed away on Wednesday at the age of 82. He was, for 2 decades, a pioneering black broadcast journalist, best remembered for calmly reporting the beginning of the Gulf War in 1991 as missiles flew around him in Baghdad. For 20 years, he was known for remaining cool under pressure. That was a hallmark of his coverage. In all of the years, quote, in all of the years of preparing to be anchor, one of the things I strove for was to be able to control my emotions in the midst of hell breaking out, close quote. He was a former United States Marine who worked as a reporter at CBS and ABC News before taking on the chief anchor role at CNN when the network began in 1980. Quote, he put CNN on the map. That's according to Frank Sesno, the former CNN Washington bureau chief and now professor at George Washington University. His striking on-the-scene work in Baghdad with correspondents Peter Arnett and John Holloman was crucial in establishing CNN when it was the only cable news network and broadcast outlets at ABC, CBS, and NBC dominated television news. Bernard Shaw exemplified excellence in his life. He will be remembered as a fierce advocate of responsible journalism. Awesome. All right, and then I actually have one more. There was one more other, because a lot of young people now, I think that the times that have made America are many. So there's a few things that he covered that I want. He covered the Tiananmen Square incident in China. He also covered the 1981 assassination attempt on President Reagan. Shaw memorably reported with correspondents Peter Arnett that he was in his hotel room when the invasion, when the Gulf War happened, and he hurriedly went to his balcony, and the rest is history.
Yes.
That's awesome. He put CNN on the map. So I wanted to have a brief moment of silence for Bernard Shaw right now. Time is 8:18. Okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about what happens to a person, to the individual, as they go on their journey to becoming, an actor. The first question I have is: Are great actors born or are they made? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
I spent a lot of years coaching, As a matter of fact, I coached track and field for 50 years. I had a favorite saying I learned from a coach along the way that if the good Lord didn't put it in you, I can't get it out of you.
Wow.
Because you can only do so much with what you were blessed with. I believe that we are gifted in various and numerous ways. And if we are blessed with that gift of being able to internalize stories and be, in essence, storytellers, truth speakers in an artistic fashion, I believe that goes a long way to developing a professional career, should that be what you desire to do. There are actors over the years I direct and act, and there's actors that I've directed that were not the most gifted actors in terms of technique,
right?
But they were so amazingly gifted in terms of heart. They loved theater. They weren't the most eloquent, and they didn't get, how the history of theater. They couldn't tell you about the Greek tragedies, but they certainly could tell a story. Right. And they were absolutely captivating on stage. So yes, in answer to your question, Curtis, they are made. Actors can be crafted, and there are those certain actors that just are gifted, are kissed at birth, and that's pretty special.
What was your now the production that you were in with the gentleman who did the
Eamon.
at your Eamon?
Eamon Walker.
Okay.
Eamon Walker.
Eamon Walker.
Chief Bowden on Chicago Fire.
Really?
Yeah, that's who he is. That's who Eamon Walker is.
Okay. What was the next production after that you were in?
Oh my goodness! Wow. I'll see. You're gonna make me think. That was along a stretch where I did a production of Stick Fly at Windy City Playhouse, directed by my dear friend Chuck Smith. I then did a production of Sunset Baby at Timeline Theater, directed by my dear friend Ron O.J. Parson. Those two men, two of the most talented directors in the country, if not the world. Then went on and did a production with Annie Kaufman at the Goodman of Sign and Sidney Brewstein's Window by Lorraine Hansberry, another wonderful, wonderful playwright. And then finished, did Steppenwolf, did Understudied Eamon, got a chance to go on stage to perform that role 3 times. And then finished up with another production at Windy City Playhouse, a production of King Liz. King Liz, yeah. I did not a spectacular play, but a well-written play and a thoroughly entertaining play. And so those were the last six productions that I did before I was kind of not forced, but eased into an early semi-retirement.
Eased into an early semi-retirement.
Yes,
Rage against the dying of the light, right?
Ooh, come on now, come on.
They won't take me alive.
Do not go silently into that good night.
That is right. So,
yes, sir.
I guess I had a question about Sunset Baby.
Yes.
Which was overrated. Well, let me go back to what was Sunset Baby. Tell me about Sunset Baby.
Oh my goodness.
Then then we'll loop back.
All right. I know, and I know that that right now there's somebody looking up the title, so I will not mess up the playwright's name because she's very specific about her name. 3-person show, direct at Timeline, really about a broken relationship between a father and his daughter.
Okay.
And a daughter who has gotten involved with a pimp, drug dealing, abusive street thug, and how the father, Kenyatta, attempts to deliver her from that relationship, but also in that deliverance to repair their relationship.
Wow.
Now, there seems to be a recurring theme here with you, Mr. Van Lear. And how she says, I don't need that. I respect you doing it. I don't respect you, at least not right now in my life. And I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much.
Wow.
So a difficult play, but a really important play.
Sunset Baby.
Interesting.
Yes. Now how hard is it for an actor and a director? Then I want to get into the directing that you do.
Yes.
How hard is it? Difficult is it for a actor and director to take a early semi-retirement? that sounds like.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm hedging my bet.
It does.
It sound like I'm hedging
It does. Yeah.
I'm kind of tiptoeing.
Which
around,
I love. I
tiptoeing around the abyss. Well, yeah.
Man,
yeah. Well, we just peek over the edge and we see the abyss and we know it's there.
Of course.
Well, perhaps I should explain why I was kind of eased into that. I was diagnosed with open-angle glaucoma in 2000. Glaucoma is a disease that they call an eye disease called the sneak thief of sight. Basically, in a nutshell, what glaucoma does, if you can imagine a garden hose, you have your optic nerve, which sits behind your eye, and then that optic nerve attaches to your vision center, which basically sits about the middle of your skull, in the back of your brain. What glaucoma does is that those nerve endings that send the signals of what you see to your brain tells you what they are. Those nerve endings begin to get choked off, like you are crimping a garden hose. There's no earthly cure for glaucoma. It can be mitigated by eye drops and sometimes even by diet and exercise, but they have not yet discovered a way. I mean, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. It says that in God's word. They have not yet discovered a way to regenerate the optic nerve. So once those nerve endings are choked off, that's it. And as they die, then areas of your vision field become either muted or distorted or dark. So I was diagnosed in 2000, re-diagnosed in 2015, and my re-diagnosis was acute end-stage glaucoma. So my vision began to deteriorate quite rapidly in 2015, forcing me to eventually have to say, okay, I can really no longer do this. So I left the business and left coaching, which I did for my heart, in 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're a visual person. You're a very creative person. The process, and I know you'll get into this, Curtis, but the process of creating, as we know, and for your listeners, whether they're painters or musicians or actors or dancers, we process so much visually. That's what we do. As actors, we watch the world and we take what we see in the world and we put that into our bodies, and then we hold it there until we're able to use it in a role, or to use it when you're directing a piece and you need an actor to embody something. Well, once one of those sensory processes go away, then as a creative, as an actor, as an artist, you have to learn to somehow compensate for the lack of being able to see clearly,
right,
and chalk it away. You have to rely on your memory and then use that imagination to be able to create what you can no longer see.
Interesting. You are still projecting radiance all the time, sir.
Praise God.
All the time. The time is 8:28 a.m. Mike said, completely agree. We are all creators. It's our responsibility to find out what our creative gift is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I funny story. I talk about Michael Rayford a lot, man. He's a great. I interviewed Michael Rayford over a year ago, and he worked for PBS, and I hark on that because I was I would just drown myself I would go to sleep watching people. My dad would pick me. I'd wake up in the bed. Like, how did I get here? I was watching dinosaurs or Black Pioneers or whatever it was. PBS had so much remarkable programming, and it's a dream for me to have to speak to people like that and do things like that.
I love that. PBS was one of my. I did the PBS fundraisers for so long. Hey, your window to your world. Call right now, 773-588-1111. We want you to join us on this journey.
You did that?
I did that for years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was one of those people that said, can we just get back to the programming? Stop talking. We want to get back to the show. Yeah, I did. It was fun. Great, just a great bunch of people at WTTW.
That's right.
Yeah.
Eddie Gaviola, good morning, and Michael Marsh, good morning to you as well. How did you? Where was the moment? I'm just a tad confused. Where was the moment of starting to be a director? How did that happen?
Riverfront Playhouse.
Okay.
Seriously, Riverfront Playhouse. Dave Morris, God rest his soul. Dave said to me, I think he knew before I knew that I was going to have a career in the business. I thought I would just work a regular job and just kick it around. But he
a regular job. I can't see it.
I
can't see it.
I did for many years.
Right. I know. Yeah.
But But I always did theater. But Dave told me, he just said, "Hey, old friend," you always say, "Old friend, you need to direct." I said, "Nah, David, I don't. Nah, no." I'm like, I'm okay with acting. He said, "Nope, nope. If you're going to be serious, you need to direct." So he picked my first show. The two of they're gone on now to glory, but Steve Rasmussen and Miss Jeannie, and they were two amazing character actors, and the production he picked for me was Gin Game.
Gin Game.
Gin Game.
Okay.
And it's just a 2-actor play, a 2-hander, and Dave knew that I couldn't mess it up. He cast it for me. He picked the play, cast it. He said, "Okay, now try not to get in the way." And that's when I discovered the joy of directing. And since then, I've directed, I don't know, probably over 100 plays.
What does it take to be an effective director?
The ability to get out of your own way and to realize that you are not the most important person in the room. But Curtis, that's what it takes to be successful at anything, is to realize that we are not the most important person in the room.
Absolutely.
What Dave taught me as a director is that, number one, you've got to cast. You pick a good play, but cast a good show. Cast a good show.
Pick a good play, but cast a good show.
Make sure you've got the right people there. And he said, when you pick your design team, your costume designer and your sound designer and your set designer and your musical director, if it's a musical, cast people that know more than you do about what they do. And then you make sure when you sit down with them, you give them a clear vision. Tell them, here's what my vision is. Show them a book of art. Here's the palette that I want you, lighting designer, and you, costume designer. Here's what I'd like you to work with. And then set your behind down, get out of the way, let them do their thing. And then you just worry about bringing the cast along. And what I've learned from that is, once you, number one, getting good people, but once you show them that you trust them, they will do amazing things. And the same with your cast. Once the cast knows that the director trusts them and not afraid to listen to them, they will do a great job. I did a production of Home at Chicago Theater Company, and 3-person show. They just revised it up at Fleetwood Jourdain. And I remember that was the only show that I directed in Chicago that I was nominated for a Best Director Award, a Jeff. And Kate Buckley from East High, Aurora person, had a great career in Chicago. She and I were both, this is when they had multiple nominations, she and I were both nominated for Best Director that same year. Neither one of us won. It was so ironic. but I do remember that there was a section of that rehearsal with this play that I was stuck. I had tried all sorts of stuff. Nothing worked. And I turned to Linda Bright, Lisa Biggs, and the late Freeman Coffey. I turned to them and I said, "Guys, I got nothing. I got butkus. You come up with something." I said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'm stuck. I've tried 5 things, none of them work." And bless their hearts, they came up with something, a piece of stage business that was so good that in the Chicago Sun-Times Review, Hetty Weiss mentioned that piece of staging.
Wow.
And that wasn't me. That was the actors.
Who's Hetty Weiss?
Hetty Weiss was a critic for the Chicago Sun-Times. Long-time critic for the Chicago Sun-Times.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes you just have to get out of the way. Just get out of the way.
It is powerful to empower people.
It is.
I've tried to do that here. We have an internship program, and we've had one famous intern, Monica's part now staff. But you have the ability to represent us the way you see fit with your own talents, with what you do. Take what's, add to it. I wonder, though, I'd like to know, have you met people in your experience with the people that you meet, you coach? Are you meeting novices completely? And what's it like to break when people come with their own hangups and baggage?
You mean being human?
Right, sure. Absolutely. Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
exactly. We take one of the themes at the Riverfront for years, and I found other theaters around the country and in Chicago that have the same philosophy, which is leave the world at the door.
Leave the world
at the door.
love
All
that.
the stuff, all the mess, all your junk. When you come into that space, that sacred space, and so many directors talk about the theater space, the rehearsal space, the actual theater being a sacred space. When we come into that space, we need to make sure that we are ready to go there free of all the junk and mess that we were holding on to when we got outside. Now, obviously, we're humans and we're going to carry some of that with us. But I think the most effective actors are able to use whatever it is that they're dealing with to find some way to use that constructively, creatively in what they're doing. And that's what I try to do. So when I'm working with a cast, and whether it's at a smaller theater like Touchstone or Fleetwood Jourdain Theater or Chicago Theater Company, or even out here, the shows I directed at the Playhouse, I try to accept where actors are in their personal lives, remind them of the joy of being able to come into a sacred space and to leave the junk outside and just be about the art. Be about the art. Be about telling the story, and it's served me well for sure. But
Right.
I believe it serves all of us in the business world and in life. It serves us well.
Yeah, I have folks who have had some experiences, and I'm blessed to be a person that my friends, when they go through something bad and they want to just
They call you.
Yeah, I'm blessed for that. I'm blessed. I used to get mad when people would call me up at 10 o'clock at night and wanting to take me. Man, can we just talk?
Yeah.
But now I'm happy for it. But
What does that do for your heart, Curtis? And these are something you may not even tell the person, but what does that do for you?
I'll tell you what it does for me. It makes me straighten my tie when I look in the mirror a little bit better. That's what it does. That's what it does.
Come on, bro.
That's what it does. It does.
Yes.
That's what it does for me. It really does. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good because, and that's something that my mom told me, like the week before I started Good Morning Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that, and I told a few people on this show too. I lost my job. I was unemployed with a 7-year-old.
Yes, sir.
With all the bills still coming, and I was telling my mom one day, I said, you know what? My friends keep asking me about jobs. Curtis, anybody who's hiring, we're going to get a job. They keep asking. I was like, I can't even, right? I can't even help myself. And my mom told me, she said, that's because they believe you.
Yes.
They believe in you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? And it was just like the penny dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And then that was another that was another one of those logs on the fire. That's my kind of thing. I said, you said leave the world at the door.
Yeah.
And I believe in that too. And I love that because like I tried to listen, whatever it was, just take that log and throw it on the fire in your heart, and that's your fuel. Just keep going with that.
Yes.
But that's what it does for me. It really does make me feel good.
That's I love you saying that, man, because when I began losing my sight, there was a period of time when I was firmly embedded on the pity pot. I went through a period where I just said, look, I don't like this. I don't get it. And then praise God that my wife, who is so much my better, she told me that, why don't you stop thinking about how awful it is for you and think about how awful it is for someone else who benefits from seeing how you deal with how awful it is for you.
Wow.
And the light bulb went on, and I've used that especially since 2015, as I've lost more and more vision. I've used that in my life, but especially in my art. All of a sudden, the anxieties and the little stuff that we would worry about being on the set, and is my trailer what I want it to be, and am I getting what I want to get out of the other actor in the scene? And I just realized, no, that's not what it's about. Is that people can say, "Whoa, dude, you're losing your vision, but yet you are concerned about me, or you're being positive about this." I often cause my journey toward blindness, to be a uniquely wrapped gift. It's a gift. It's uniquely wrapped, but it is a gift, and it's oftentimes I'm learning it's the gift not so much to me, but what people watching me deal with this, what it does for them.
Right.
And I've stopped asking why. The old Bible story about Job, and Job was so faithful, and Job did ask God, why did I lose everything? Why did I lose my kids? Why did my wife turn against me? Why? and God never told him why.
Right.
God just said, because I'm God, and that's how it is. And whatever this is, it's a blessing, so use it. Not always easy, my brother.
Right.
Not always easy, but it takes the burden off.
Yeah.
So I can go into this production with joy. Is it weird? It's weird not being able to read anymore, not being able to see, it's weird, but it's also such a great blessing to be able to show the world that, hey, you can get through whatever you're dealing with. You can get through it.
Yeah.
You can get through it.
Absolutely. The time is 8:42 a.m. I'm reminded of the great Ray Charles. A man who created just amazing works after adversity.
Yes.
Definite adversity.
Yes.
I did have those two pieces of news, the Marie Wilkinson's food pantry, that I wanted to bring up to folks. So take them to a quick commercial here. Time's 8:43. Marie Wilkinson's food pantry, nourishing lives since 1957. Do not forget, you would be remiss. October 16th, from 1 to 4 p.m. is going to be the Fill the Bowls event, honoring World Hunger Day. The Marie Spirit Award is going to be from 2:30 to 3 p.m. that day. This will be at Gaslight Manor Banquets, 2485 Church Road in Aurora. Adults are $40. Children 6 to 12 are $12, and under 5 is free. Taste of Fox Valley with over 25 restaurants as well. Bloody Marys, mimosas, silent auction, drawdown, live music, raffles, and a wine pull. I love every time I hear a wine pull, right? I just picture like you got a big thing. I don't know, but I want to go just for that. I guess you just reach in with your eyes closed and you put, Merlot.
A Malbec.
Right. Heck yeah. How many times can you pull? Anyway, let's see here. To sponsor, donate auction items, or purchase tickets, please visit mariewilkinsonfoodpantry.org or call 630-846-0460. The number again is 630-846-0460. As you all know, we've shared this flyer many times on our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere. So please act like you know it. Also, September 20th, How Money Works for College. Register for it. You need to know it. Learn how to prepare for the FAFSA applications and how to pay for and plan for college. This will be September 20th from 7 to 8 p.m. at 1 Trans Am Plaza Drive, Suite 500 in Oakbrook Terrace, Illinois. There is a QR code on the flyer that we have here. We'll share this so that you guys can benefit from it, as featured on CNBC, ABC, Fox, CBS, The Wall Street Journal, CNN, and U.S. News. Quite great. Quite great. Oh,
well done, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. And then last but not least is the Kids Expo. This is tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Fire trucks, police cars, medevac, and much, much more. This is presented by State Representative Stephanie Kifowit. This will be rain or shine. For more information, call 630-585-1308. That number again, 630-585-1308. Our friends of the Neighbor Project and the Aurora FEC will be there as well. The time is 8:45 a.m. So,
Sir,
here's
a play.
Here's the thing. We're going to end on Riverside and Crazy.
Yes,
a bit
sir.
more. But,
Yes, sir.
but of course, we don't want to do no spoiler alert.
No,
that.
no,
So
no,
that's
no,
why
no.
I am dancing around this. Woo!
I know, bro.
It's a dance. Like, man, he is tiptoeing. Who have you worked with in this cast? Is this a new group of people for you, or are you folks been working together, experience with each other?
Gary and I have known each other for almost 50 years.
Okay.
So yes. So Gary and I are dear, dear friends. We've been on stage together. We've done life together.
We've done life together.
We have.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yes. That's the second one I love. Leave the world at the door, and we've done life together.
And of course, Heidi Schultz. I've known Heidi since all of her life. Her and her brother Jackson. Her late father, Jack Schultz, was a dear friend and another Riverfront founder. And of course, Sherry Winchester Schultz, another dear friend. So the only people I've worked with on the show is Aaron Hogue, who plays Dave Caro, and Heidi Schultz, who plays Audrey.
Okay.
So it's great working with them again, but it's been 37 years since I've been at the Riverfront stage as a performer. I've been back, of course, several times to see shows and to see my son perform. So it's getting to know this new, exciting cast. And working with this particular cast on this play has been a joy, just a joy. There's never been a play like Between Riverside and Crazy done at the Riverfront Playhouse. Ever in the 47 years of the Playhouse history. This is truly one for the history books. It's that powerful of a piece.
You're fired up when you talk about performing.
Really. No.
You light up. You really. It's in your blood.
Yes, sir.
It is. It's really in your blood. I asked that and I say that because I've been doing this long enough to just meet people who are telling me about things. People can tell you about things, People can tell you the car is red. But that's the difference between a person telling you, this is a Camaro. This is Curtis. This is the Chevy of the, and you really have that. And it's marvelous to see it just radiate off you.
Thank you, brother.
No, I do, man. I do.
You're a storyteller. You're a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
I knew of you, and now meeting you and spending time with you, I can tell. And likewise, brother, you're a storyteller. But I know you're familiar with Bertolt Brecht, the great German playwright. He wrote Mother Courage.
Okay.
Salzburg Dance of Death. Bertolt Brecht had a saying that I love. It used to be on my business card. I have since changed it. But he would say, one of his favorite quotes was, "Art is not a mirror to be held up to reality, but a hammer with which to shape it."
Absolutely.
That's what it is. That's what we do. That's what you do. Is that this art form is not for us just to say, okay, how do I look? How do I look? How do you look? But it's that hammer,
right?
That we can shape the world when we tell our stories. When you and I'm so excited about what's going to happen with Good Morning Aurora. I know it's going to blow up. This is going to be such a huge part of Aurora's future moving forward. I know that. I trust that, man. I'm stepping out in faith on that. But that's what we do as artists, as storytellers. We shape the world. This play, Between Riverside and Crazy, someone's going to be changed. We don't know how. We don't even know for how long.
Right.
But somebody each night in that theater, in that little 85-seat jewel box, somebody is going to leave that theater a different person from when they came in. And that puts that beautiful responsibility, that incredible and precious responsibility as artists, for us to make sure that we are telling that story as honestly, as authentically, and as genuinely as we can.
Right. The price is $17 for adults, $15 for students and seniors as well. Once again, September 9th, so today, going all the way until October 8th. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the flyer. Hold it up for you. Zoom in on it so that you can see it. This flyer here is going to be in our window here at the studio downtown. So when you take the beautiful walk along the walkway, you will be able to see it. All right, good stuff. Time is 8:51. Cruz Ocho is here. Good morning to you, Cruz Ocho, dear brother. Good to see you. Cindy Morales, hello there. Aisha Saxon, you are a blessing, Mr. Van Lear. Thank you for sharing yourself, gifts, and testimony with us.
Oh.
We are better for it.
So thank you very much. God
Thank you,
bless
Aisha.
Thank you, Aisha. Wow.
In close, so now this is the point.
As we land this plane.
Yeah. I say that. How did you know? You've been listening. That's right. That's what I say. As we start to land this plane, right? As we put our tray backs in now,
The upright
finish the
position.
little peanuts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on, man.
Use the bathroom one more time.
One
Look
more
down
time,
the aisle.
please.
As we land this, I'd like to ask for about the Riverfront Playhouse. Sherry Winchester Schultz said that it's been around since 1978.
Yes.
How can we, the public, help the Riverfront Playhouse?
Bible says in Matthew, come and see.
All right.
Come and see.
Okay.
Come and see. Best way, Dave Morris would say that the best form of advertisement is word of mouth. His old saying was, if you like what you see, put a smile on your face. If you don't like it, keep your big mouth shut.
Right.
But come and see. It's a jewel box. It's a treasure. It's been around for so many years. It's right there, right across the bridge from the Paramount. There's great parking. Our mayor has done an amazing job with downtown. It's a welcoming place, and the Playhouse, the Riverfront Playhouse, is unlike any other theater in this area. And I don't say that because I'm just blowing smoke because I'm a company member, but that's the absolute truth. That it is unique in how welcoming it is. How people leave their egos at the door. Oh, I get choked up about it because it's that kind of place.
Right.
It is a special place, and the stories that are told on that stage are special stories. And if people haven't been to the Playhouse, this is a heck of a show for them to come see, because I guarantee that they'll be back. They'll be back.
8:53 is the time. Once again, September 9th through October 8th, between Riverside and Crazy. Fantastic cast. 630-897-9496 is also the number that you need. And riverfrontplayhouse.com. Fantastic website. We have linked to the website a few times on our posts and things like that. Do you guys have Instagram?
Yes,
You guys have Instagram?
I know it exists. I left social media. I left social media 2 years ago. I'm sorry. I have limited bandwidth now, bro, and so I have decided to be very judicious in where I spend that bandwidth.
I got you. I completely since I already had a very non-existent, almost tolerance for the crazy, the riffraff before doing this show.
Yes, sir.
Doing this now, I can't do it. I feel you. Yeah, the bandwidth is very minor for it.
Curtis, some people might call that discernment, bro.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right, the time is 8:54 a.m. So the show ends on a positive note.
Yes, it does.
Every day. Yeah.
Yes.
What's your message today for the people of Aurora?
I would say that we We are all in this together. It doesn't matter, like they say, it doesn't matter who's driving the bus, but we're on the bus. We're in the boat. We're in this together. What I have learned, especially over the last 2 years, that in spite of the machinations of the noise that's out there, we are far more similar than we are dissimilar. And what joy, what love, what peace that we can share with each other, knowing that we are brothers and sisters, that we are in this together, that none of us are going to get out of this alive.
Right.
The more that we can do just to say, hey, I'm with you on this. We don't have to agree on things. That's fine. That's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of this country, which the greatest country in the world. If you don't believe it, go live somewhere else. You'll come back. Believe me. The greatest country in the world, and the beauty of this country is that whatever we believe, whatever we feel is true or not true, we are still in this together. And it's all right to disagree as long as we continue to love each other. It's all right to have different ideas and opinions as long as we continue to love. That is the most important thing. Leave the world outside. Focus on what's real. And you know me, man. I mean, I'm a pastor. I mean, I just got, I'm a Moody Theological Seminary grad, and so that's who I am. I always tell people that if we keep the main thing, we'll be all right. We just have to keep the main thing,
right,
and let go of everything else.
Amen to that.
Amen.
The time is 8:57 a.m. This has been a great conversation with Mr. Phillip Edward Van Lear. And once again, Between Riverside and Crazy starts today, goes until October 8th, Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. here at the Riverfront Playhouse, 11 and 13 Water Street Mall. This is the flyer here. One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, check out and get to know our friends at the Riverfront Playhouse.
Please do.
Great place. Support them as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next week starts the new schedule for the show. As we've told you guys about, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will be Good Morning Aurora. Buenos Dias Aurora will be Tuesdays and Thursdays. So get ready for more news, more art, and more culture here in the second largest city. Take care of yourself and each other.
Amen.